time on the boat, on the Quinn. We're heading down the River Cone. We've just come out of the home port of Brighton Sea, which is behind us. I'm going to have to shout because it's a bit breezy, so you might get a bit of wind noise. I haven't got my microphone at the minute. Haven't got much sail up, half of the foresail. Pushing along at 3.5 knots because we've got a little bit of tide behind us. Not too sure we're going to stop tonight. I'm out for 2 days. It's glorious weather. It's unreal, to be honest. I mean, it's literally the end of October and we've got a bit of a heat wave going on. I'm very comfortable in the t-shirt and nothing else. The wind is warm, the sun's shining. We had a little bit of rain earlier, but that's cleared. It's supposed to be dry for the next 2 days. There's a few boats out today. It's going to be quiet now because the time of the year. It's also Thursday. We're going to get out, do a bit of sailing. I was trying to pick up some bait for fishing, but I didn't get time to go to the shop. But oh well, it's a reading, relaxing, a little bit of sailing, a little bit of motoring. It's very, very high tide. It's 4.3 metre tide, which is very high for this area. It's normally around somewhere between 3.5 and 4. I didn't leave my car on the beach this time. I passed it, going past there at high tide, and that whole area is underwater, so a very good job I didn't leave my car there. Cars are safely in the car park at Brighton Sea. See Brighton Sea disappearing in the distance there. 4 wind turbines that are close to home. There's a tractor over there. It's been a glorious day all day. I've only been out for a couple of hours or so. We've come to the back of it's a place called Pewit Island. It's the end of Pyfleet Creek, which is on the cone. Never come down this far before. Normally anchor a lot further way down, but you can come down all the way down. You can go all the way down to, if you keep going down, you eventually end up at the Strood at Mersey, but obviously you can't get all the way down there because there's mud. You don't want to sort of be anchoring too far down, just in case you can't get back. But it's not that far down, it's just down there and around the corner you come to the actual Strood, the bit where you can drive over to Mersey Island. On that side, that's the Finger and Hoe Ranges. You can see just about make out the white and red signs telling you to keep off. No, you're not actually allowed to land over there, no dinghying. You can on that side. I think the island, Pewit Island, I think that's actually owned by the people that own the oyster fisheries. Well, not 100%. This is a nice spot. It's very calm, the boat's hardly moving. It's going to have a comfortable night here. I think we'll be floating the whole time. We're right on the edge of the channel. Just about to make out there. Literally right on the edge, so the bit where it's blue, it's a bit zoomed in if I come out. The bit where it's blue is there's water there all the time. The green is marsh, and that bit there in the middle there, that's Pewit Island. We've got very high tides at the minute, strong, powerful tides. 4.3 metres because the moon's way up. Nice sun in the. Gonna get a nice sunset tonight by the looks of it. This is a real good place for sunset photography, to be honest. It's the way the sun sets across the water. It's always good for the place. This creek always gives amazing sunsets, just because the way it's situated. Every time I've been up here, when you got weather like this, the sunsets have been amazing. There's not a soul here, as you can see. That's the river we come down. You'll be able to just about make out a few lights. It's bright and see the distance there. Complete desertion, complete loneliness and quietness. This is what I came up here for. It's one of the most popular places on the east coast to anchor. You can understand why. Birds doing their final thing. The tide's exposing starting to expose the mud, so some of the small birds are starting to hunt. Digging around in the mud for goodies. If you own a boat on the east coast, you should always give this place a go overnight. It's an amazing place to anchor. Boat's all set for the night. Just turned on the anchor lights. I fitted marker lights onto this, as you can see as well. Gives extra visibility overnight. Got one that needs fixing. That one there is off. This one there's down to a couple of LEDs that have gone dim. The deck's starting to look a little bit worse for wear. That's not because of wear, it's because of where birds have been pecking at it. As you see, there's a few holes in the cork. It's not because of where it's actually worn away, it's actually bloody seagulls have been using it as nesting material. So I'm going to have to do some repairs on the deck at some point in the future. It's 6 o'clock in the evening now, just gone. Got dinner on the go. Dinner, well, sailing's the same as camping really. I don't have an oven because I use an alcohol stove. I've got 2 burners to work with. There it goes, an Origo 3000 cooker. Uses alcohol. I use a bioethanol because it produces a clean burn and nice and clean to cook with. I'm using my large pan as a Dutch oven, heating the pie. Also got some peas in there, so I'm sort of using it similar to what you would a Dutch oven. Only got it on low. I've got some boiling water. If you ever go camping or this sort of thing, I thoroughly recommend this stuff. Ida Home Perfect Mash Buttery. Comes in a few different flavours, but I found this is the best one. It makes a really decent mashed potato. I know a lot of people don't like instant mash, but it's really decent stuff. It's made in America. And it really does work really well. I'm going to be watching a film later on the TV. I got some little jelly pot for dessert, a few chocolate bars, some drinks. I brought some beer over with me so I can have a beer tonight. Also got various other snacks to pig out on. Keeps you going. And we'll close the boat. Oh, it's gone. As you can see, it's almost dark out here now, apart from the very sunset there. Step out and get a shot of the boat, inside of the boat from outside, lit up. Excuse the mess on the table. We'll close tonight down with image of the sunsets. See you tomorrow morning. Good morning. Got a bit of a breeze building. Had a comfortable night. Still same place, so it didn't drag at all one bit. It's only about 45 minutes from low tide on the rise. The wind is coming directly from this way, so we'll be able to sail off the mooring, off the anchor should I say. Get a bit ready for sail shortly. Take down the daylight marker, get stuff ready, pull the anchor and get going. It's been a good night so far. Not sure what we're going to do today. Don't know if I'm going to go out to sea and sort of play around or go hang around the river, who knows. Make a decision when I get there. See how lumpy it is when we get there. It doesn't take a lot of breeze to create a bit of chop around this area, as long as it's coming from the right, pardon me, coming from the right direction. When it's an onshore wind, it tends to be a bit rough. We have a thing called East Coast chop round here, and it makes the even in sort of like 15 knots of wind, it's pretty uncomfortable going. Had some breakfast, so we'll get going. Back at the home port, we stayed in home port overnight. I come back a day earlier than anticipated and I stayed in the home port last night, mainly because I had an engine issue. Got a bit of a fuel starvation problem because the filters are blocked. Partly my own fault for not changing them this year. There was a bit of diesel tank algae coming through. It blocked the tank. I rigged up a pump to get us back into port, which worked quite well. I think I might actually fit one permanently. You can get small diesel pumps because the gravity feed on this engine is very low. So I might do that just as a matter of course anyway. So I know some people do. Have a little upgrade for the future. Quite a cheap thing. I'm just making some breakfast. Nice cup of coffee and some Rice Krispies. This is Brighton Sea. As you can see, we're on a 4.5 mooring. Little boy there. There's another one at the front. Everyone around here's got them. They're not swinging moorings. We're on the furthest one over, which does make this mooring very cheap. Something splashed in the water over there. Possibly a fish. Might get to see the seal. There's a seal around here. They've nicknamed him Sammy. Sammy the seal. Pops his head up sometimes. I've seen him hunting before. He was hunting for fish on this sort of shoreline over here before. Because initially I thought someone fell in the water. And there was a hell of a splash and crash, and I walked over and realised there was a seal on the hunting on the beach. That's Brighton Sea. That's where the car is. But if I come over for 2 days, or if there's like really high tides, I always put my car over there. That's Point Clear on the other side of the river. If I'm just coming over here for the day to do some work and maintenance, I put my car over on that beach over there. Or sometimes I put it over there just for like a single overnighter, as long as the tides are not too high, because it does flood. That way is where I live, Clacton. You can see the wind turbines turning in the distance there. Clacton's just to the right of it. It's a good port. It's a popular port. In the summertime there's a ferry service. If you ever hear on holiday, there's a ferry service that runs between here, Brighton Sea, and Point Clear, and then over to West Mersey. It's a good day out. Runs like several times a day. They don't do it this time of the year. As soon as the summer season ends, it comes to an end. There is a ferry service though that takes people to boats from Brighton Sea. That runs all year round. It's a limited service in the winter, but it does run. So you don't have to use a dinghy. I prefer to use a dinghy myself, but you don't have to if you don't need to, don't want to. It's a good port. It's all council owned, so the moorings are very cheap around here. If you live around this area and you're thinking about buying a boat, definitely see if you can get in here. You'll save yourself a lot of money. Some fishing. There's a fishing boat coming in there. They must have had a really an overnighter or out really early. It's about 9 o'clock now though, so it's possibly they weren't early hours in the morning. There's a few charter boats run from here. Also the wind farm maintenance boats run from here as well. I think they own a couple of the flats and they have a new block where the staff stay. Windshore boats park in that mooring there, then they go out, maintain the offshore wind farm, and then come back later on in the day. Call this a video of a close, and we'll see you later. Next video will probably be boating again. The clocks change tomorrow, so we're going to lose the night hours of daylight. I don't really like to go out camping once the clocks change very much, because it's obviously the web's starting to go down the tubes, and also getting dark at 4 o'clock is not great if you're out for a day. Don't mind doing this. I don't mind using the boat all year round now, because obviously I've got full entertainment on the boat, and so when it gets dark, I just make myself comfortable inside. I've added heating onto this boat this last year as well, so it's nice and warm if I want it to be. So we'll call it a close, and we'll see you later. Get out there and have some fun.